So for seagrass restoration, a lot of times, if you're allowed to dive, you have to send a diver down, and there's an insurance cost to that. There is a human health risk associated with that, and divers can only stay down for so many hours per day, depending on the depth. So the first thing we're trying to expand is the operational envelope for restoration project developers. In many cases, restoration practitioners are not allowed to dive. The agency has a restriction on diving due to insurance costs. And so in these cases, the tide has to be low enough for people to wade or snorkel to retrieve the seagrasses from the healthy donor bed and then plant it. So our underwater tractors can operate during a high tide, during a low tide, during any tide. Plus, the robots don't get cold and they don't have to be fed, so they can operate much longer, and they are much, much more cost effective. We're looking at coral reef loss, seagrass meadow loss at massive scales. On target to lose 90% of our coral reefs by 2050. We've lost between 30 and 40% of our seagrass meadows to date, and we lose 10,000 hectares of seagrass every year. One of the tailwinds that's worth mentioning is the EU's Law for Nature that was ratified this past summer by the EU Parliament. And seagrass meadows are called out as a specific habitat where every member nation in the EU will have to restore 20% of the degraded seagrass meadows by 2030. In 2024, Japan became the first country in the world to include seagrasses and kelp as part of their and the carbon that is sequestered by those ecosystems in their national emissions calculations. And so that sets the stage for blue carbon and the ability to now offset and meet carbon emissions by planting seagrasses and kelp and other marine natural capital.